What's up, everybody? Good morning. The day has finally come. I hope the camera quality is not too bad. Little disclaimer, it's a new camera, and I know it doesn't look as good as my GoPro, but I'm hoping that it's passable, because you don't buy something at the pawn shop and not use the fucking thing, right? Right. Anyway, the day has finally come for us to cook on the Family Dollar $40 Family Dollar smoker. I have cooked on it before, but I set it on fire when I did. You are not going to do that. I promise you. I'm going to tell you what caused that and what not to do. Today we're going to make pulled pork. And the real downside of the Family Dollar smoker is really you've got one pan on the bottom side that holds your charcoal, and there's nowhere really for the ash to go. So what ends up happening is, over the span of, I'm gonna say 4 hours maximum, that pan just fills up with ash. And even if you try to add charcoal to it, those of you that have used any smoker before, or have a brain more than what I got probably, but you can't just toss new charcoal into a bunch of ash, because it really doesn't catch, because it's all ash, there's nothing to breathe, but we're going to be doing this in kind of like not two-part video, but there's a two-part section to this, because there's no point in finishing a whole pork butt on any smoker. I've said before, that's just for looks. And number two, the Family Dollar smoker, realistically, it's not going to give you enough time to finish it. So what we're going to use it for is to get some smoke on this, and then we're going to finish this. You can either finish it in the oven, or I'm going to use my slow cooker. And I'll tell you why. To speed it up a little bit, because the smoker is not, it's not going to run 10 hours. I bought some pork butt that's been sliced. And sometimes they'll call this boneless pork ribs, shit like that, which just obviously is not boneless, but this was just called like sliced pork butt. But you can see, this is a pork butt. It's just been, sliced up. When you slice up meat, what happens is it makes it cook faster. You say, well, if it cooks faster, isn't that going to make it, not render the fat? That's right. That's why I'm not going to take any of this fat off, because I don't want to. This fat's going to be kind of like a protector of the meat. I want to let it stay on there as long as possible. And I don't have any right now, but what I would recommend to you is, if you have some kind of pan like this, not a glass one, because it would get all brown and nasty, you could wash it, but do we really want to piss off the wife on a Sunday? I don't. Get like an aluminum foil pan and put them in there and put them on the smoker. That way any fat that renders out, it's going to stay, and it's going to braise this meat. Normally I don't do that on my big smokers and stuff like that, but if you're using sliced up meat like this, or things that don't have a lot of fat, and you want to capture that fat and recycle it through the meat, that's a good idea. There are people that when they do barbecue, that's how they do everything. You'll see them open up the smoker and everything's going to be in a pan, because they want it to just sit in its own fat. If you do that with a big pork butt, in my opinion, it's going to be too greasy. But with something like this, you can do that. I just don't have an aluminum foil pan right now. I don't even have any fucking aluminum foil. Isn't that crazy? I used to have like 18 fucking rolls around here, because every time I was going to do barbecue, I'd be like, oh, I need aluminum foil. Buy some, come home, be like, oh shit, there's 6 rolls. But I guess she threw them all out. Anyway, we're going to be seasoning with the usual Bad Byron's butt rub. Hopefully we'll be able to get this done and get the smoker started before everybody starts waking up. It's about 7 o'clock right now. You'll say, man, you need all day to cook this? I don't know. That's the beauty of putting it on the slow cooker afterwards, is if it does get done early, I can just leave it in there on the warm setting, which you could do that too with an oven. It ain't that big of a difference. I can just leave it on the warm setting and cook it whenever. I don't know if y'all can hear my little girl in there raising hell, but she's ready to wake up. She's been in bed for quite a while, so we're going to hurry up so we can let her get her party started. That's one of them ones where God blessed us with a baby that would sleep all night and not wake up and let us get all the sleep we wanted, but when she is up, Jack Magicker. There ain't no 5 more minutes. When she goes to bed, you better get your tail in bed too, because you're sleeping when she's sleeping. She sleeps a lot, but sounds like the sprinkler just started. That's fucking real convenient, but it ain't gonna bother us. And one last side. And we'll let these, you know, some guys like to season shit like all fucking night, and I don't know, I ain't too worried about all that. It's gonna be on there the whole time we cook, so, you know, it looks good to me, right? Maybe the only thing I try to do is, which this is more just me being kind of a nerd about it, but I try to season it all equally. That way, you know, when you take a bite of it, hopefully you're getting very even. Like if you take a bite from this part or this part, it's going to taste the same. I don't want somebody to have a good sandwich and a bad sandwich, you know. So let's go get the smoker started up and we'll throw this on. Okie dokie. So we're going to go ahead and load this up with charcoal, and this is kind of one of the downsides of the smoker that I was explaining earlier. Another thing I'd like to firmly apologize for is the use of flip-flops on this program, but I'm going in and out a lot, so sorry. You basically got to take it's 3 parts, you know, bottom, middle, top. So you basically got to take the middle off where the water pan goes to add charcoal to it. Well, that's fine, except for, like I said, you really can't add any to it. I mean, if you had some kind of funnel design, I suppose, like maybe a U-shaped piece of metal or something that you could make like a little charcoal slide to go in here, you could, but my opinion is too much of a pain. So we'll just work with what we got. I like to put about that much. I tried to really load it up one day, and that's why it caught fire. Or part of the reason, because you think that, you know, you're just going to kind of start it on one end and it'll slowly burn. But what happens with fire is once it gets spreading, it spreads quickly. So this whole pile will be lit up. As soon as one portion of it gets lit, it's just gonna, it's like a multiplication effect. It's gonna light more and more until it's all just lit. So there's really no point in going too crazy with the charcoal. Just put a good, you know, bed of coals in here. You can use a chimney. I don't know, I think this probably gives it a little bit more life to it or whatever. A little bit longer burn time, but it's really however you want to do it. I mean, the main goal of using this thing is you're going to get some smoke on the food, okay? So we'll tuck that down in there, or we'll put it on this side so hopefully you can see it. It doesn't matter. You're just Take enough thing here, put it down on one side, and let it rip. Now, I'll explain to you while we're waiting on this why you should always use the water pan. When you don't use the water pan, fat from the food will drip directly down onto the coals. You don't want that, because that starts what? A grease fire. I came out here and I had me a goddamn Burning Man thingy on the front porch here. There's white girls in sparkly swimsuits and whatnot dancing around in my front yard. They thought I was having a rave. I had to shoo them off, and I mean, once get the meat off first, right? I think I managed to save that pork butt. It was a little bit crispy, but I wish I had video of it. I don't. I think I was making a video, but then I saw that and I was like, oh shit, video time over. So the water pan actually will catch that fat, and the reason why you put water in it is that way the fat doesn't just sit there and burn, because it's going to be hot as shit. So the water pan isn't really to keep the meat moist like they tell you. It's just to keep you from having a grease fire, but they probably don't say it that way because they don't want to scare you, you know. Whereas like with an offset smoker, the fire is forever away from, not forever, but you know, the fire is in a completely separate box from the fat that's being cooked off, so there's no way that the fat can drip down onto the fire. It does make me curious though with those guys that have like the big open pits or whatever that cook the whole hog right over top of it. I wonder, because you know they're throwing coals right underneath that hog. It makes me wonder if they ever have any problems like that, or if it's such a low heat that maybe it just doesn't catch. But last thing I'm going to say for this segment is this is a smoker that very much benefits. Normally I'm not really too stern about this, but cleaning this thing off after you use it, once it cools down, is a good idea. Get the charcoal out of it, you know, the ash, clean off your grates, because if you let it sit, it will get kind of gross. But yeah, we'll give this a couple of minutes to get started. We'll let this tumbleweed burn out. I don't know what kind of fucking chemicals they got on that. We'll let that burn out, let some of the charcoal get started, and then we'll throw the meat on, and then we'll go to Walmart. But I'm not going to film Walmart. Okay, so now, moment of truth. She's smoking. The charcoal is, you know, on its way. Let's put this on there. I'm going to say it really doesn't matter. Any particular way you want to put it on there is fine with me. Leave that like that. Now the only thing I'm going to do is, if you're not sure how hot this thing is, because the thermometer is not the best, just put your hand on it. Typically, if you can hold your hand on it, you know, for more than like, if you can't even get your hand close to it, you're probably like 300. You know, it's hot. If you can put your hand on it for a couple of seconds, like 1 second, then you're probably around the right temperature. And if you can just put your hand on, I mean, like this thing is probably like 100 degrees right now. Maybe a little bit hotter, but that's how I gauge it. But the easy way to gauge it is take a thermometer, put your prong right in this hole, which is what I'm about to do, just to monitor things, and run it like that. Or just stick the thermometer in the meat. Also what I might do. So anyway, I'm gonna head off to Walmart and let this do its thing while And then I'm going to get the slow cooker started up too. That way it's nice and warm for when we go to throw it in there. So, see you guys in, I don't know, a couple hours. Alright, so I just wanted to show you. So right now this is cooking at about 140. And like I said, I can put my hand on it for like a couple of seconds. It's really not super hot in there. I checked the meat a second ago. As you can see, whoops. And some cat was getting his ass tore up. Focus, camera. There it goes, sorry. As you can see, most of our charcoal has burnt up. This thing is pretty much done. All it's gonna do, fuck, that's hot. But here's your results, more or less. As you can see, we've gotten some pretty good smoke on these, and the fat is starting to render. So, sorry, this camera's really fucking letting me down here. With that, we'll throw these in the slow cooker and cook them all the way until they're 200 degrees. And then I'll show you the final product. But, regardless, as far as the Family Dollar smoker goes, this thing is good for getting smoke on food. Really not too much else, in my opinion. I mean, you could use it to grill if you took the top half off and just put the racks on the bottom half where the water pan is. But my damn lens is fogging up. What the hell, man? Come on. But like I said, I mean, you throw the shit on there and it puts smoke on the food. You see all this nice red coloring? It works. $40, you're not going to get much better than this for a $40 smoker. So, yeah, we'll finish this up and I'll show you the end result. Alright, it's about 4 o'clock now. Everything's reading out to about 200. I set the slow cooker down to, I had it on low and I just now moved it down to warm. So the only thing to do now is remove all these this is rib meat, so we're going to take some of the bones out of it. But I'm sure the taste of it or whatever is fine. I'll have a little piece here. Ooh, that's hot. That's good though. So at 200 degrees, this should just come right off of here. What am I doing? Come on. Whatever. You get the point. Pull the bones out, shred it up. Your pulled pork is done. The smoker works fine for what it is. It's not, you know, a $500 smoker. It's not going to be. But it's good enough. So, yep, we finally got it done. Maybe I'll do some ribs on it or something if ribs ever stop being like a gazillion dollars. But hope you enjoyed.